Daniel in the Lion's Den, a tale of faith and deliverance. In the heart of the ancient city of Babylon, where ziggurats pierce the sky and Euphrates River wound like a silver thread through bustling markets, a man named Daniel walked with quiet strength. Decades earlier, as a young boy of Judah, he had been torn from his homeland during King Nebuchadnezzar's conquest. Yet, through exile and trials, Daniel's faith in the God of Israel had only grown stronger, like a cedar rooted deep in rocky soil. His wisdom, integrity, and devotion had elevated him to a position of honor in a foreign land. And now, under the reign of King Darius the Mede, Daniel's star shone brighter than ever. Babylon was a city of splendor and ambition, its walls adorned with glazed blue tiles, and its streets alive with merchants, priests, and soldiers. King Darius, a ruler with a keen mind but a heart susceptible to flattery, had reorganized his vast empire, appointing 120 satraps to govern its provinces. Over these, he set 3 high officials, and among them was Daniel, now an elder statesman in his later years, his face lined with wisdom but his eyes bright with unyielding faith. Daniel's work was flawless. His ledgers balanced, his counsel sound, and his loyalty unwavering. The king, impressed by Daniel's exceptional spirit, planned to elevate him to oversee the entire kingdom, second only to the throne. But in the shadowed corridors of power, envy festered. The other officials, a mix of Babylonian nobles and Median courtiers, watched Daniel's rise with growing resentment. Their own ambitions were eclipsed by this exile, a man who refused to bow to their gods or play their political games. They whispered among themselves, their voices laced with malice. How can we rid ourselves of this foreigner? They schemed. His work is faultless, his character unassailable. But his faith, his God, that is his weakness. Daniel's devotion was no secret. Every morning, noon, and evening, he retreated to an upper room in his home, where a window opened toward Jerusalem, the distant city of his people. There, he knelt in prayer, his voice rising in thanksgiving and supplication to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The officials saw their opportunity. They devised a plan as cunning as it was cruel, one that would exploit both Daniel's faith and the king's pride. Clad in fine robes, they approached Darius in his opulent throne room, where golden lions flanked his seat and incense curled in the air. "O king, live forever," they proclaimed, their voices smooth as oil. "Your glory surpasses all rulers before you. Let us honor you and decree. For 30 days, no one in the kingdom may pray to any god or man except you. O king, let violators be cast into the lion's den, a fitting punishment for disloyalty." Darius, swayed by their flattery and eager to unify his diverse empire, failed to see the trap. He signed the decree, sealing it with his royal signet, making it irrevocable under the unyielding law of the Medes and Persians. Word of the decree spread through Babylon like wildfire. In the markets, priests paused their chants, and citizens whispered nervously. For Daniel, the news was a thunderclap, but his heart remained steady. He could close his shutters, whispered his prayers in secret, or fled the city. But Daniel's faith was not a cloak to be shed in times of danger. It was the very air he breathed. With the same calm resolve that carried him through exile, he climbed the stairs to his upper room, flung open the window toward Jerusalem, and knelt to pray. 3 times a day, as the sun painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson, he poured out his heart to God, giving thanks and seeking strength. The officials, ever watchful, crept near Daniel's home like jackals stalking prey. Peering through the lattice, they saw him, kneeling, praying, defiant in his devotion. Their lips curled into triumphant smiles. They hurried to the palace, their accusations ready. "O king," they cried, feigning outrage. "Daniel, that exile from Judah, scorns your decree. 3 times a day he prays to his God, defying your authority." Darius' face fell, his heart pierced by dread. He realized too late the trap he had set for himself. Daniel, his most trusted advisor, was now condemned by the king's own hand. For hours, Darius sought a loophole, consulting scribes and pacing the palace halls. But the law was ironclad. His pride had bound him, and now it would bind Daniel to a brutal fate. As the sun sank, casting long shadows over Babylon's towering walls, soldiers came for Daniel. The city held its breath as he was led through the streets, his head held high, his eyes serene. At the lion's den, a grim pit carved into the earth. The air was heavy with the musky scent of beasts. Below, half a dozen lions paced, their tawny coats rippling with muscle, their roars shaking the stone walls. The crowd grew silent, some in awe, others in pity. Darius, his face etched with anguish, approached Daniel. "May your God, whom you serve so faithfully, deliver you," he said, his voice trembling with hope and despair. Daniel nodded, his gaze steady, as if he already saw the hand of God at work. The guards lowered Daniel into the den, his robes brushing against the rough stone. The lion's eyes glowed like embers in the torchlight, their growls rising to a fevered pitch. A massive stone was rolled over the entrance, sealed with the king's signet and those of his nobles, ensuring no one could interfere. The crowd dispersed, leaving the den in eerie silence, save for the distant roars of lions. Darius returned to his palace, but peace eluded him. He refused food, dismissed his musicians, and paced through the night, haunted by the thought of Daniel torn apart. In the den, darkness enveloped Daniel. The air was damp, the ground cold beneath his feet. The lions circled, their breath hot, their claws scraping the earth. Any man would have trembled, but Daniel stood firm, his heart anchored in prayer. He lifted his eyes heavenward, trusting in the God who had delivered his people from fire and flood. Then a miracle unfolded. A radiant presence filled the den, an angel of the Lord, clothed in light, with a voice like a gentle wind. The angel stretched out his hand, and the lion's jaws were sealed. Their growls softened to murmurs, and they sank to the ground, docile as lambs. Daniel sat among them, untouched, his faith a fortress against the darkness. Through the long night, he rested in the presence of God, the lions lying quietly at his side. As dawn broke, painting the sky in shades of rose and gold, Darius ran to the den, his royal robes trailing behind him. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and hope. "Daniel, servant of the living God," he shouted, his voice raw with emotion. "Has your God, whom you serve so faithfully, saved you from the lions?" A moment of silence hung heavy. Then Daniel's voice rose from the pit, clear and unshaken. "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths. They have not harmed me, for I was found blameless before him and before you." The king's eyes filled with tears of joy. He ordered the stone rolled away, and Daniel was lifted from the den, his robes untouched, his skin unmarred. The crowd gasped, whispering of a miracle. Darius' relief turned to righteous fury. He summoned the scheming officials who had plotted against Daniel, their faces once smug, now pale with terror. The king's judgment was swift. They and their families were cast into the same den. Before their screams could echo, the lions pounced, their hunger unleashed, and justice was served. Darius issued a new decree, inscribed on clay tablets and sent to every corner of his empire, to all peoples, nations, and languages. Tremble in fear before the God of Daniel, for he is a living God, enduring forever. His kingdom shall never be destroyed, and his dominion has no end. He delivers and rescues. He works signs and wonders in heaven and on earth, for he has saved Daniel from the power of the lions. Daniel prospered under Darius and the kings who followed, his life a testament to the God who delivers the faithful. In Babylon, the story of the lion's den became legend, whispered in homes and sung in songs, a reminder that no pit is too deep, no danger too great, when God stands with those who trust in him.
Thanks for watching. Share God's love and subscribe for daily Bible inspiration. God bless you.